Hello everyone! The clip you're about to hear is from one of our exclusive Patreon episodes on a recent horror release, and just like all of our other episodes, it might include major spoilers for said horror release, so don't listen to it if you haven't already seen it. You've officially been warned. And if you'd like to hear the full episode, just head on over to patreon.com/horrorqueers and subscribe today. Without further ado, here is your exclusive Patreon clip.
Okay, so now I've got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a queer-coded villain?
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I want to say yes, but then I feel like by saying that, I run the danger of saying a man who is effeminate is queer.
Yeah, but if the shoe fits...
I know.
Okay, so the reason I asked is because I also believe it, and I was waiting to see if the film was going to give us any revelations, because at certain points, the affectations that Ethan Hawke was adopting almost felt like he had multiple personality disorder, like he was channeling different people. And I thought, oh, maybe this is a mental illness.
Ooh, you know what, though? It would have been really nice if he had a different personality for every different emotion on the mask that he was wearing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's also why I thought the mask was changing, like to reflect his various moods, but also potentially his identities.
Right.
And we don't really get confirmation of that. So it could be the case, but the film doesn't actually confirm or deny. And then there's also very much the insinuation, like, because we don't see violence inflicted on the kids, and we don't even learn that they're dead for a long time, I was like, so is it that he wants to play with them? Like, even the word naughty boy, I was just like, okay, sure, we're talking about child abuse. We've already had a child beating earlier in the film, so we're definitely primed for that, but I couldn't help but think that language is very sexually suggestive.
Yes, yeah. And again, we know he's going to beat him with this belt, so it could be some kind of sick fetishistic thing, pedophilic fetishism that he has. But again, the film doesn't go through any lengths to tell us that, which you could argue is fine, because then whatever you're imagining he's going to do is worse than what actually happens. But you're right, the implication of that, which again, in a country where a lot of people do think that queer people are pedophiles and deviants, I can see how, yes, someone could walk into that and be like, well, that's what that is.
Yeah. Now, the other thing to consider is, so you mentioned that there's that scene where Gwen stumbles upon the victims as ghosts in the street. And I felt like one of the missing posters earlier in the film said that there was a girl. But then, if I'm remembering correctly, in the lineup of ghosts that we see, it's all boys.
It's all boys.
So I'm like, ooh, it's all boys, which is another sort of telling thing. Like, if it had been mixed gender, and often serial killers who go after children do tend to go after a single gender.
Right. Well, oh god, you could even argue, I mean, like, let's say for the sake of argument that the grabber is a gay or queer man of some sort.
Right.
It's also the 70s, and so, like, I think it would be an interesting story, actually, if they would even made that explicit. And it's like, I mean, of course, you'd have to change the focus of the story to be more about the grabber than about Finney. But about, how a society who comes down on queerness, like, has turned this man into this monster. But we're not getting that movie.
Atlas Avenue, a long stretch of road that encompasses everything the city of Kennett Heights has to offer. Neon lights, traffic, crime, the hustle and bustle of everyday life, and the craziest of characters. My office was above it all. My name is James Locke, and I'm a PI.
Hello, Mr. J. How the hell you doing today?
Good, Edith. Nearly every year I have a new case. New people to meet, new clues to discover, and new problems to solve. But I do it the old-fashioned way. No technology. Nothing post-1950. Hell, I don't even listen to podcasts, but you should. Atlas Avenue Beat is a spoof of the film noir genre with goofy characters, tons of wordplay, and non-stop raunchy humor. There's also 3 whole seasons out right now with more on the way. Just search for Atlas Avenue Beat wherever you listen to podcasts or visit us online at bloody.fm.
Hello, I'm Shelby Scott, the host of Scare You to Sleep, a podcast where I tell you spooky bedtime stories full of creepy sound effects and music that is soothing yet unsettling to help immerse you into a world of horror. This is a show for those of us who have realized horror can be a strange but relaxing escape from reality. Speaking of escapes, sometimes I lead you through guided nightmares, like a guided meditation, but instead of flowery meadows, I take you on a journey through your own personal nightmare. So come get lost in the terror with me. Listen to Scare You to Sleep wherever you listen to podcasts, or find us online at bloody.fm. Sweet screams.